Hey everybody, I learned something crazy today, really important about foot baths, and this really kind of concerns me. There's companies out there, especially cheap foot bath companies, that are just copying, and they are using some really sketchy stuff, materials for their array. The array is like the metal plate, basically electricity goes to, and that's what's responsible for creating the polarity, the ions. Anyways, this is really important. So just because, well, let's put it this way. There's a lot of brands out there who will say, oh, we use stainless steel array, and stainless steel is pretty good to use as a plate, but it can be some of the worst things to use material if it's not 316L, okay? 316L certified. All right, so 316L is a type of stainless steel that has no chromium oxide in it. All right, most companies, a good chunk of them, just use regular stainless steel, and they'll even advertise that we use stainless steel. This is so great. It doesn't rust. Yeah, okay, that's good. But honestly, most of it is naturally has a lot of chromium oxide in it. When that breaks down in the water, and especially once it oxidizes, it's a poison basically to the bottom. It's extremely toxic. So this just kind of freaking blows my mind. These companies, I mean, anyways. Okay, so that's a really important thing to look for. 316L, all right, for stainless steel. A lot of people have actually have gotten a couple questions about, the nickel inside of stainless steel. And what's interesting is, each metal has its own properties during electrolysis. And nickel actually is very durable. It doesn't actually break down during the electrolysis process. So actually, when you start to see the plate thin a lot, from a lot of use, a stainless steel plate, usually the last thing you'll see remaining on the plate is almost like, it looks like Swiss cheese, but the last kind of the remaining metal is usually nickel. That's what it is. So that's actually okay. It's a toxic metal, but it doesn't break down. What does break down now is any chromium that's in there. So you really want to make sure you get the right kind of stainless steel, and definitely please give me a call if you have any concerns about a specific machine that you're looking at that has stainless steel arrays. The other thing you do is find like copper. Some people just say, hey, we just use pure copper or whatever, just pure copper. Well, the problem with that is that it breaks down really, really fast. It oxidizes really fast. That's what ends up turning the water black and green. So, it just doesn't last as long, and then you're always replacing it. Nowadays, copper is a lot more expensive than it was like 10 years ago when a lot of foot baths became popular probably 20 years ago. But back then there was a lot of copper, but it's a lot more expensive now. So getting those replacements every few foot baths just doesn't seem like it makes sense. And then also it does stain the inside of the container a lot. I don't know if that's a concern. I'll use basically like a disposable bucket, plastic bucket that I'll just pick up at like a local superstore or something like that. But I'd probably just say, that what you want is you want a plate that doesn't, of course, leach any toxins in it, but you also want a plate that, will last a little bit, so your foot baths won't be so expensive, because that's one of the costs of, doing foot baths. It's not just the electricity, but how much does the actual plate break down. So like I know a company that uses like an 8-inch, it's basically a massive plate, and you get basically like 100 foot baths out of it. At the same time, I know like a really well-known IONIC foot bath company that uses rings, and these rings, like every 3 to 5 foot baths, you're replacing them, and they're really a pain in the ass, honestly, to put them off and on or whatever. So you want something that's easy to fix, or like a plate that's easy to take out and put back in if it wears down quickly. Or don't mess around with that. Just get a brand that has a really thick plate that breaks down after 50 or 100 sessions, because if you're doing a lot of foot baths and you're really serious about your health, you don't want to have to keep on replacing them, because that can also be very costly. There's one company I'm thinking about, you get like 100 foot baths, and I think the replacement's like $25 to $40, which is not bad. It's not bad when you break it down to how many foot baths you're doing. It's like 40 cents a foot bath or something like that. So yeah, it's just a little piece of insight. Please watch out. Out there's some toxic stuff. Give me a call again if you want me to look up the specification of the company that you're looking at, and yeah, shoot me an email, shoot me questions, call me.